question is very specific and straight. I wanted the status of the work to review the government's statement on the role of data centres in Ireland. Thank you.
Minister Damien English.
Thanks, again, thanks Deputy Connolly for raising this issue. I know you raised it in the autumn as well, so it's a timely time to give you an update. The Climate Action Plan 2021 requires my department to review the government's statement on the role of data centres in enterprise policy, ensuring alignment with revised renewable electricity targets and sectorial emission ceilings. The revised statement will set out the existing policy context and reflect the important economic and societal role of data services that become ever more apparent since the onset of COVID-19 pandemic and remote working. Data centres securely store and manage the data which keeps much of our information-based economy and society moving. These investments underpin the digital economy in which data is the key asset. However, the revised statement will also seek to ensure that demand for data centre development can be managed prudently and assist in the decarbonisation of our electricity system and deliver regional economic opportunities. It will take account of recent public consultations from Éirinn, Shaping Our Electricity Future, and the Commission for Regulation of Utilities proposed direction to the system operators related to data centre grid connections, which demonstrate an appropriate, timely and planned approach to managing these challenges on the part of the organisations tasked with delivering and managing our electricity grid. As to the status of the work to revise the statement, a working group of key stakeholders has been established and held its first meeting recently there mid-March. As well as in my own department, the organisations represented were the Department of Environment, Climate and Communications, Department of Taoiseach, Department of Public Expenditure and Reform, Airgrid, ESB Networks, Commission for Regulation of Utilities, IDA Ireland and Enterprise Ireland. Further meetings of the working group will take place over the coming months to develop the revised statement for its consideration by Government and finalisation and publication, and that's on track to be completed in Q2 of this year.
Thanks, Minister. Deputy.
Thank you, Minister. I've tabled a series of questions, and usually the Tána has answered me, and there was hope, and there was a deadline, and there was a recognition that we needed a strategy. That seems to be gone now with this reply, and it seems to be gone into the Never Never Land. Minister, just in view of the latest report from the Intergovernment Panel on Climate Change, I haven't the time in a minute to go through it, but we mentioned it last night in the Dáil. This is the turning point, the final turning point. And we're looking at an enterprise, a government policy that stated that didn't look at climate, didn't look at the effect on the environment whatsoever. We got a thumbs up from Grant Thornton, which I've read in detail, which did not look at the costs to the climate and the environment as a result of the proliferation of data centres, more than 70 at the last count. And we have a statement here from Airgrid consultation paper, March 21, the current developer-led approach. Am I out? I know. The current developer-led approach, where energy assets and large energy users can locate wherever they want, would not allow Ireland to reach its 2030 renewable targets, and many other quotes. Thanks.
Minister, you have a spare 30 seconds as well.
Okay. Deputy, I'm sorry that you think we're putting on the Never Never. To be very clear, the Taoiseach answered you on this in the autumn and told you we'd have this report and update statement by Q1. It has slipped into Q2. We accepted that there's a delay in that. But that means that the work has been done right in our view, and it will be published in Q2, an updated statement. The reason it's been updated is because the previous statement was in 2018, would predate the Climate Action Plan about 2021. And that's why we're updating it, to recognise all the issues you clearly pointed out and to make sure that we're aligning enterprise policy with our climate targets. But also, when it comes to the discussion of data centres, I think we have to have a very, a detailed conversation around their role in society and the benefits they would bring. Because the role of data centres in the economy should be assessed in the context of their total economic value they provide, and not just as an isolated economic activity. The important economic and societal role of data centres, such as video calls, streaming service and other remote work technology, has become ever more apparent since COVID-19. Data centres securely store and manage data in a very effective way, and in most cases a very energy efficient way. It keeps much of our information-based economy and society moving. These investments underpin the digital economy in which data is the key asset. Data centres, to be clear, are an increasingly important part of the digital and communication sectors and our core infrastructure in the remote working and digital service economy. The transition to a digital economy is well underway. It is impacting all sectors of the economy, and Ireland is well positioned as a digital gateway to Europe. Data centres and the service they provide act as a hook for further investment and job creation. And to be clear, directly each data centre would generally employ between 30 and 50 high qualified jobs, but also the overall impact they have would be about 20,000 direct jobs in the economy, supporting those companies who are here involved in the infrastructure as well.
Deputy.
Minister, you're not proactively reviewing this policy. You're reviewing it now because of outrage over the lack of analysis in relation to the damage done by data centres. We fully accept that we need data centres. We fully accept that they're part of the modern economy. What I don't accept was the thumbs up given in 2018, 3 years after we passed the Climate Action Plan, 1 year before we declared a climate emergency and a biodiversity emergency. My difficulty is with the type of analysis that was done by Grant Thornton at the time. I don't blame them. They did whatever they were asked, but it took no cognizance of what was happening in relation to the emergency. That's my difficulty. It's taken no cognizance of what has been said by Airgrid in relation to the developer-led approach of data centres, and taken no cognizance of the fact that we're now this week talking in context of the government panel, that intergovernmental panel that tells us we've no choice. That's my difficulty. So when exactly will we have the new strategy?
Minister, to conclude.
Sorry, Chair, but maybe I have to say for the third time, it's Q2 is the target. And I think, Deputy, I think you've been a bit unfair here. You keep referring back to a statement in 2018. We've already committed, and it's an action in the Climate Action Plan, to review that policy and to update it. That work has begun and has started, and it will involve all the conversations you've just touched on there and all the reasons to recognise where we are in the climate change and climate adaptation measures, but also to recognise the importance of data centres to this country and how we can balance the two. And that's what the report will do. The updated statement, it's due now in Q2, so I think we're on the same page here. And referencing what happened before 2018 is not where this report is at. This report is updating that policy. So we should be able to achieve what you want to achieve. But I'm glad you also recognise the importance of data centres. And we have to recognise that the providers of data centres have ambitions in relation to green energy well beyond the governments. They intend to be at 100% by 2025. And we want to work with them on that as well. And it's a major sector in this country, but also it's a major sector for our construction partners who are involved in this business all over the world and having a major impact for Ireland, because it's an area of high expertise for us. And it's one that we excel in. We want to continue to do that, but in a climate-friendly way.